Hocus. Weak sauce. Say again. Hocus pocus.
Everybody focus!
We are in Unit 2, Lesson 4, and today's all about word problems. What is it all about?
Word problem.
We are going to write them. We are going to solve them, which means that you're going to start creating your own. So we really have to think about what problem type is it, what's happening in it, and then if they tell us a certain problem type, how do we write a problem that matches that? Okay, so this is activity 1.
Activity 1.
And I'm going to start off here. This one's an example, so your markers are grouped. All you're doing is listening. I hope I don't get points here. I'm going to keep the tally on my page because, man, oh, man, third graders are listening. We're in the listening position. Our tools are grouped. The only thing in front of us is our math board marker eraser. And here we go. It says, identify the type of problem and choose the operation. So this is exactly what we've always done with our word problems. We're reading it and we're thinking about, do we understand it and can we represent it? So, numero uno.
Numero uno.
Students in Mr. Till's class hung their paintings on the wall. They made 6 rows with 5 paintings in each row. How many paintings did the students hang? Would you guys reread this problem with me, please? You don't need a marker. You don't need it. You guys aren't working out anything on this problem. So your hands are just listening position. Ready to read? I don't see everybody's eyeballs, so I'll wait. This is really cutting into your guys' free time today.
Wait, free time?
Yeah.
I have free time at
It's
home.
Friday fun day.
Okay, ready? Students in Mr. Till's class. We're going to restart until we get everybody reading. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Jade, Savannah, ready? Students in Mr. Till's class
Hung their paintings on the wall. They made 6 rows with 5 paintings in each row.
I'm so sorry. I'm getting a point and I have to restart because I still have 2 friends I noticed looking around that aren't with us. When I say we're reading, that's everybody. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Get your eyeballs up here, ready to roll. Students in Mr. Till's class
Hung their paintings on the wall. They made 6 rows with 5 paintings in each row. How many paintings did the students hang?
What mathematician can tell me? What type of problem would this be if they made 6 rows and 5 paintings in each row? Would this be an array, an equal groups, or an area problem? Brielle. It would be an array. And if we know the number of rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which you're not doing yet, this one you're just watching. And I know that there's 5 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With what I know, am I going to multiply or divide to solve? Gunnar? I am going to multiply. So this is an array multiplication problem. Once I've done this, I'm going to go ahead and solve. It's a 6 by 5 a row, so I will say 6 times 5 equals 30 paintings. So there's a couple steps here. I read their problem. That's another point for me. I've got some friends who are not listening. Yikes. We don't have our markers in our hands. I read their problem, I figure out what type of problem, and I solve it. The next step is I'm going to create my own array multiplication problem. So I would look at their words to kind of give me some clues for how to do this, right? Because they want me to do my own word problem that's the same type. So I need to think about something I might put in rows and columns. And I need to be able to tell how many rows and how many columns so that I know I'm multiplying instead of dividing. So let's see. Something that I might put in rows and columns in my world is desks. So I might say, Mrs. Scholes puts her desks in 5 rows. There are, let's see, let's say 5 desks in each row. Is my word problem done?
No.
What is missing from my word problem right now? Addison?
How many desks does she have?
Bingo. I have to have a question. Whenever we're writing a word problem, it's probably going to be 3 sentences, 2 to give the information, and the last one to ask our question. So I need to say, how many, and I barely even have space for this. I got to go under the line. How many desks does she have in all? This is like the sloppiest Mrs. Scholes handwriting you've ever seen. Question mark.
That's sloppy.
Now, I've written my own problem that's the same type. That's it. That's all I got to do. I don't even have to solve it. And the reason for this is, by the end of today, you guys are going to have created some fun problems for us to practice on our next math workshop day. That you are going to create the problems that your friends are going to be trying to solve. Sound good? So you got to be creative. If you want to talk about puppies, go for it.
Go.
If you want to talk about your favorite candy, absolutely do it. Okay? But I want you to make sure, think about the language they used. I made sure words that told me what type of problem it was, I plugged into my problem to make sure that it matches that. Does anybody have questions about that? We're not going to the nurse. Maddie?
So can you do like numbers?
Any numbers you want.
But make sure
As
you
long
know.
as you can solve it.
Like
Like numbers that we would multiply normally.
a trillion divided by.
So would we normally multiply a trillion and things like that?
No.
No, so don't put that in your problem. It's got to be something that we have, you can solve it using our multiplication table. Okay? I'm going to keep moving on, and if questions pop up as we move on, then you can ask them then, okay? So, oh, Riley.
Well, would you get that back? So like if you gave somebody and they sold it, would you get it back?
So what's going to happen is I'll create like a practice page with your guys' problems plugged in it, and then I'll print it off for you guys to practice, or it'll be on Classroom. Okay? So, numero tres. This one, I am going to have you guys help me solve. So, you can have your markers ready.
Markers ready? Markers ready? Markers ready.
And please read it with me. And I know it's kind of hard because my handwriting got into it, but we can read starting here. There are 8 goldfish in each tank at the pet store. If there are 56,
goldfish in all, how many tanks are there?
There's 8 in each tank. There's 56 in all. And they want to know how many tanks we have. What type of problem is this? An array, an equal groups, or an area? Ellie?
Equal groups.
Yes. And just so you guys got that heads up, you guys probably recognize really this is equal shares, right?
Yeah.
So instead of calling it equal shares, they're going to call it an equal groups division since we know our total. They kind of, I don't know why this lesson does that, but they kind of mix it up. So who can explain my drawing? How would I solve this one? Savannah?
You're gonna do circles.
How many circles?
8.
Really?
No.
I want to know how many circles.
56.
Ooh. 56 goes on top, so that's my total on top. Go ahead and get that down on your math board. Total on top is 56. Oh,
And
it's
then
not showing up for you.
circle.
Sorry.
And then 8.
So actually, I need to figure out how many circle groups. So I'm actually not going to put 8 groups because I need to figure out how many tanks or how many groups there are. I'm going to count by 8s. So I'm going to put 8 in each group. Ready? 8. And you're doing this on your boards too. You don't need to switch colors because that's going to waste too much time. 8, 16. Anybody know the next count by? 24. 32, 40, 48, 56. Hey, I'm curious. How did you guys know those so well? Have you been practicing or did you use my map board? Or? Oh, you guys use the multiplication table.
I just remembered them.
Smart. So I always do it like that so that I can go back. And when I connect my lines, I can count how many groups it took, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Equals 7.
7. What mathematician has my equation, answer, and label, Mr. Leiter? 7. Thanks. Nice work. I bet half of you wanted to put goldfish.
Nope.
But you got it. How many tanks?
No, because it says how many tanks.
Nice work. So here's your first shot. And I'm going to be asking you what your problems are after this so that I can type them. So we've got them for our next practice. But I want you to create your own equal groups division. Now, on your math board. So class.
Yes.
Think about language. You're going to have to give the total, right? They use the words in all. And then they told you how many were in each group. You can choose if you want to tell how many are in the group or how many groups there are. But this is your chance, not to color, but this is your chance to write your own word problem. I'm going to give you 3 whole minutes, okay? 3 minutes, you can write about goldfish, you can write about puppies, you can write about students, you can write about chocolate milkshakes, but it's got to be something where you're telling me the total and you're splitting it into groups. Or
You can write about anything
group
as
of
long as
something.
it's appropriate.
Are you ready? And
Yep.
we'll come around and help. But this is your 3 minutes of work time. Online friends, I'm going to pause my video, so you're going to need to pause. And when you write this down, it'll end up being in your slides later. Okay? Okay, hocus pocus. So I'm going to listen. Your problem has to be an equal shares problem, right? Something that has equal groups and you're dividing to solve. So you're going to have your total amount and either the amount of groups you're putting it in or how many are in each group. But I'm going to collect some of your guys's, and you don't all have to share this time if you don't feel like it's ready to go. But I want to get at least 5 practice problems, okay? So who has one that you would like me to add to our collection? Savannah.
Savannah has 10 turtles. She wanted to buy more, but her mom did not let her. How many turtles does she have?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Can I do an equal shares to solve this one? How can we adjust this? If you've got a total of 10 turtles,
It would be 10 divided by 0.
Yes,
you can't divide by 0. That's impossible. But could you somehow group your turtles? What might you group turtles into?
Cages.
Into cages. How many cages do you want to put them in, Savannah?
1.
And then how many turtles are in?
Each cage. And
Okay, that works. I'll do another one. Let's see. Emerson.
There are 56 Skittles. Gunnar splits the Skittles into 8 groups. How many Skittles are in each group?
Does that have a total and a number of groups? You bet, that works. Okay, Ellie, do you have one?
This kid has 60 books. She gives away 12 books. How many books did she give away?
Does this have a total and then groups that we're putting the books into?
That'd be 50.
Does it?
That'd be 58.
Ooh, let's think about instead. What can you do with books to group books?
That's 58.
What's a way that you can group books, Ellie?
Well, that's not putting them in groups though. Think about ways that you group books, like on bookshelves or in baskets or in piles. Do you want her to have them on a bookshelf or in piles or in baskets? In baskets. How many baskets do you want Jay to put them into? She puts the same amount in each of 5 baskets. That works because 5 is a count by of 60. How many books are, how can we finish this, friends? What are we calling our groups in this problem? Miss Jade has 60 books. She puts the same amount in each of 5 baskets. How many books are in each basket? There we go. Let's do another one. Oh, Olivia.
I had 5 sloths in each cage. There are 45 sloths. How many cages are there?
I have 5 sloths in each cage. There are 45 sloths. How many cages are there? So I've got a total of 45 and I'm putting them into groups of 5. That works. I like it, I like it. And let's see, I heard from 1, 2, 3 girls and 1 boy. It's time to hear from a boy. Keegan.
There are 70 cattle. There are 7 cattle in each cage. How many acres are there?
How many acres are there? Is that what you said? There are 70. I'm going to say cows because otherwise it kind of doesn't flow right. There are 70 cows. Let's say I have 70 cows. There are 7 cows in each acre. How many acres are there?
What is an acre?
An acre is an amount of land. It's about the size of a football field.
We got a lot of it.
Okay, friends, I'm going to pause because we're going to do another type of problem, and I'll get examples from another problem type, okay? So, erase.
Erase.
Oh, I know you guys have got this. I want to hear your next problem, so we got to keep practicing more. So, I'm going to shift gears here, and we got to figure out this next one. This says the same as problem 5, so let's solve problem 5. Pierre built a rectangular pen for his rabbits. The pen is 4 feet wide and 6 feet long, so it's a 4x6 pen. What is the area of the pen? Oh, you can't see that. Yeah, who said that? Brielle, what is it? Areas. Do you know what's nice? The words in that phrase told you what type of problem it is and what operation we're doing. What's the type of problem, friends? Area multiplier. Let's go. Who can give me an equation? An equation. Answer. Label. Miss River. 6 times 4 is 24. 24.
6 and 4 square feet. And they came back there.
Fancy area label. And we're measuring in feet. So, what'd you say? Bingo. Square feet. Here's the deal. You guys are officially going to write your own area problem now. So think about a place. Think about a place. Hello. Do you need one of my friends? Oh, perfect. Holy cannoli, we got so many friends going today. Think about a space that you would find the area of. Is it your book cover? Is it your bedroom floor? Is it a wall? You got to think about that first. What is a place that you can find the area? Because you're going to tell me how long it is and how wide it is. I'm only going to give you 2 minutes this time so we have more time to share them. Are you ready to create one?
Yep.
Online friends, you're coming up with an area multiplication problem also. Okay, my friends, who thinks that they have an area problem that they can add to our quiz? That's okay. You don't have to choose from. Gunnar, what do you got for me, bud?
Wait, what multiplication was this supposed to be?
Oh,
Any
Maddie.
multiplication?
Maddie, shoes.
Is it any multiplication thing?
An area multiplication.
I have 6 dogs.
It's got to be something that you're going to be measuring, right? So it can be area.
Oh, I have 10 dogs. I put them into 6.
So, like, maybe we can talk about the size of the pen that your dogs are in, right? So we can say Gunnar's dog pen or dog kennel or yard. Gunnar's dog kennel is how long and how wide?
6 inches.
6 inches long. Your poor dog does not have much space, buddy.
Okay. Actually,
6 feet long?
10 meters.
10 meters long. Oh, I like it. 10 meters long and
10 meters long. I said put them
and how wide?
in
If it's 10 meters long, how wide? If you're thinking, we're talking about your kennel floor. 10 meters long and how many meters wide? 10 by 5, 6, 7? 7 meters wide. What is the area of, how about I finish it, Gunnar? What is the area of
my kennel.
his kennel? Another way you could word it, if you really want to get your dogs into it, is you could say, how much space does his dogs have, right? This works also. Who else thinks they've got an area problem for me? Riel? Yeah, speak up, girlie. You can take your mask off, I can't hear you. Let's stick with, if you're doing 6 feet long, then for wide, we're going to stick with feet also. 8 feet wide. How much area will she need to cover? Very good. Let's see, I want boy, girl, Landon.
Landon has 56 Skittles.
Uh-oh, 1 second. It's not giving me a new problem. There it is. Landon has, ooh, careful. It's got to be something that's going in an area, right? So what, maybe you spilled your Skittles and the pile was, so let's say Landon spilled his Skittles. The pile was, how big, how much space on the floor did they spill into?
56 Skittles.
So let's think. 56
5.
Skittles. Maybe it's like 12 inches wide or 10 inches wide. 10 inches wide. The pile was 10 inches wide, and how long do you want it to be? 10 by 10 by 5, and 5 inches long. How big was Landon's pile of Skittles? Or should I say, how much space did it take up?
How much space?
I like that too. How much space did Landon's pile of Skittles take up? I like it, I like it. I'll take one more example of an area problem, Hadley.
I have 8 kennels for 8 puppies. And
What are you measuring?
they are 3 feet long.
They're 3 feet by feet. Oh, this would be a really tricky one because if each kennel, I'm going to say each kennel is instead of they are. Each kennel is 3 feet wide by 2 feet long. Do you remember your problem like this on yesterday's math?
Oh yeah.
If each one's a 3 by 2, and she's got 8 of them, oh, after you find the space of 1, what do you have to do?
You have to add more. You have to go.
You gotta add it up. Oh my goodness, this is a 2-step one, Hadley. So each kennel is 2 feet wide by 2 feet long. How much total area, or what is the total area of all of the kennels? I think we need a break to stretch. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I'm gonna have you erase.
Erase. Erase. Erase.
And we'll take a quick mental break stretch. Pause your screens online, friends, and play when you're ready to. This is going to be our last one like this, okay? And it's going to be numero siete.
Numero siete.
Paulo arranged 72 baseball cards in 9 rows
It's a spaceship.
and a certain number of columns. Into how many columns did he arrange the cards? So he's got a total of 72 baseball cards. He's putting them in 9 rows and an unknown number of columns. What type of problem would this be? Or how could I draw that out? Oh,
Not an array.
let's see. Miss Ellie, thanks for your GTA. It is going to be an array because we heard the words rows and columns, right? Now, if I know that he's got 72 cards and I know the number of rows, but I'm missing the columns, will I be multiplying or dividing?
Dividing.
Okay. Who can tell me how to draw this picture? Miss Lovegrove.
What?
So you want to put the number 72 and then
Awesome.
you want to put 9
Okay.
rows, no, 9 dots on the top.
No, you're totally right. My rows go like buttons, remember?
No, but I got columns.
Well, they line up in one column, but we have to put the number of rows going in a column so that we can go out to form our rows, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then you do a circle and then you try to find what's in that.
All right, we got to figure out how many columns. Who's got an equation answer label for me? Braylon. 8 columns. Nice work. Do you guys think you can write your own array problem? I think you can. I think you can. Instead of making you actually write it this time, I'm just going to shift to the computer right away. So I want you thinking in your brains as this all shifts over. I want you thinking, what is something that you would organize in rows and columns?
Can you rate it if you're a fast
If you're a super fast writer, go for it. But otherwise, I'm just going to start calling on friends that have something in mind. And you don't have to write it down. You can just speak it this time. What's something you would put in rows and columns? Who's got an example for me? Like maybe you've got a bunch of trophies, or maybe Macy, what's something that you would put in rows and columns?
Mickey has 24 cats.
24 cats. 1 second. Mickey, you said?
Macy.
Macy. Oh, duh. Macy has 24 cats. 10 rows. So be careful. If I count by tens, can I get to 24? What is a number that I can count by to get to 24? You can find it as a target on our multiplication table and then look up and see what column that would fall in. You guys can be thinking about that too. What would be a factor that can fall into 24? She lines them up in 6 rows. That works for me. How many cats are in each row? This one would be a division, right? Was theirs a division?
No.
Theirs was a multiplication. I'm going to keep it though, because this is a great array division problem. This next one, who can tell me a number of rows and columns where we're trying to find the total? Trying to find the total. We've got rows and columns. River.
I'm doing the odd spread and then I'm doing the blue evens. I mean, the evens blue. It makes sense in my brain.
I have 3 chairs in a row. There are, you know what? If there's 3 in a row, then that means you've got 3 columns, right? Because they're going across. But maybe you could say, how many rows do you want? 4 rows. So in a row, I'm going to say in each row. I have 3 chairs in each row. There are 4 rows. Let's flip-flop it. I have 4 rows of chairs with 3 chairs in each row. What's your question going to be, River?
How many chairs do I have in all?
How many chairs do I have in all? I need to hear from a gentleman for my last array example. Nice work on these friends. Skylar, what do you got for me? So if there's 6 in a row, you can tell me how many rows, or you can tell me, because if there's 6 in a row, then that's telling me the number of columns, right? Because they line up. How many rows of students, what do you want? 5. So let's say there are 5 rows of students with 6 students in each row, right? Not yet. What's your question going to be for this one? How many students are there in all? Yes, Skylar, you may go. My friends, that's the end of activity 1, and you crushed it. I'm thinking I might let you do this instead of homework today. Do these your friends' problems, you think?